85 of them. Thank you, folks. If you clicked on play somehow, some way, and you ended up here with us, welcome to episode 3 of the New England Camp Podcast. I, once again, am guiding you through this today. I am joined, my name is Bud, by the way. If you are new, go ahead, click the like, subscribe, go ahead and share this with a friend. You can press pause. It does not take that much time. We sincerely appreciate all the help getting the word out. Supporting summer camp professionals how we know how to, which is to be here for one another. We're always going to be here for you. And today I am joined by a familiar face to me, but she's new to a lot of you all. And if you tuned into the teaser, you've met her before. Jillian, how are you doing today?
I'm good. We had some people in the building this morning, which is always fun for a program. And so it's always great to connect with our folks.
Two things on that. I'm going to go ahead and shameless plug. If you happen to be hearing this before 11/12, our fall seminar is this week. Actually, you know what? Fake news. This is coming out after the fall seminar. Thank you for tuning into the fall seminar. We enjoyed seeing everybody there at Waltham. Stay tuned for more on that. Whew, the magic of podcasts. But the one thing that is true, the New England Camp Conference registration is open. So whatever you're doing, make sure that that is on your agenda. That's what we're here to talk about today. But before we get too deep into that, Jillian, I want to hear your camp story. We can talk. I think and when you see Jillian, when you meet Jillian, you can hear about her personal story. But I don't want her to air out all her laundry. But one of the questions I always ask folks is, "What is your camp story?" Because inevitably, we all have a unique journey. There are parallels. There are things that cross over. There are things that we can kind of relate to. But at the end of the day, your path is your own. And specifically in the world of camping, we know that those paths are just as diverse as the experiences themselves. So take us real quick from your camp story and where did it start? And I'm not going to say it didn't end. Look where you work. But what is Jillian Gold's camp story?
What level of detail are you looking for?
All right. Did you go to camp as a kid? What did you learn from those experiences? You got any shout outs you want to throw in there?
Okay.
So did you go as a kid? Did you ever work at camps? How did you get introduced to the camp community? And then how did you
I
end
know
up
what my camp story
at this
is.
job?
I want to know how long you want the story to be, but I got it.
People are probably either on a commute, a treadmill, and we're going to talk about the camp conference a little bit towards the end. So I'm curious though, like this is good. Why? Is there something that's jumping out and you're like, I got some stuff I just gotta want to make sure, or are you just curious how much time
No,
we got?
I'm just someone who could tell a story. Like I could tell you every single detail. I could tell you like what snack I was eating when I did my first prank on someone
What was
when
the
I was a
snack? What was the
day
prank?
camper. It was Teddy Grahams. But to your point about camp story, life story, my camp story kind of is a big part of my life story. So I've got that going for me here. Early on, always went to day camps as a kid. Thinking about it now, like my parents are both lawyers, so during the summer they were probably like, yes, camp. And they grew up going to camp as well. My mother went to sleepaway camp. And so like that's a thing that people in my family have done, but I have to imagine now reflecting on it, they were probably like, we have to work, go to camp. And I have an older sister. She's 3.5 years older. So she started going to sleepaway camp. And she went to Mattapanai. And so when I was of sleepaway camp age, kind of just wasn't really a question. Like I went to Mattapanai because that's where my sister went. Mattapanai is probably the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on here.
Just lie. Don't tell no lies. Speak truth. If it's true to you, that it's true to us for the moment.
Truly, it's a beautiful place. I went there for 5 years. So I went there from the summer after 3rd grade till the summer after 7th grade. And I liked camp a lot, and like Mattapanai does camp so well. I never felt like I had the bestest friends. I didn't totally always feel like there were people who got me. There were a couple, but like in the grand scheme of the population, I didn't quite feel like it was my place in that way. So then the next summer, and I had considered, doing something else, but I didn't know what to do. I was 10, 11, 12 years old. Like, I didn't know what to do. And this was like a little before 12-year-olds were just like searching on their own where to go to camp.
Yeah. This is the Wild West still.
Yes, exactly. But then it turned out that my drama teacher in my middle school and my sister's drama teacher at her school started a theater camp together. And it was in Maine, which I had been going to, and I loved going to Maine. A bunch of people from my school already went there. I'd heard amazing things from the girls in my grade who had gone. And I was like, I'm going there. So I ended up at what is now called Ghostlight Theater Camp. Previously, it was called Acting Manitou. We went through a rebrand in 2020/2021 when leadership changed, and we decided to kind of like, we had grown out of a program at Camp Manitou, and that's kind of where that original name from, and we decided to kind of like develop our own identity a little more. And so I started going there as a camper the summer after 8th grade, so 2010, and I was a camper for 4 years. I took my obligatory gap year after my senior year of high school, where I was a receptionist at a medical spa, like the kind of place where people go to get Botox. That was super different than camp. That's like a whole other thing that I did. And then first summer after college, like as soon as I could, I was like, I gotta be a counselor at camp. I want to go back to camp. I love camp so much. Camp's the best. The biggest difference for me between Mattapanai and Ghostlight, I mean, there are a lot of differences. They are completely different programs, completely like different types of camp. But the thing that made the biggest difference for me was the people. I found my people at Ghostlight.
You're
Like,
a theater person.
I'm a theater person. I'm artsy. I'm loud. As a kid, I was a little bit of a weirdo. Like, I found people there who really got me. And I experienced like friendship and kindness in a way that I never had before. Like, I was so used to the camp structure of like being with your age group and like only being with your age group, and like, you're an inter B, why are you talking to a midi A? Sorry, Mattapanai, I think I love you. I just want you to know that. Like, I love Mattapanai. That's just you're the example that I have. I was so used to being by age group. When I got to Ghostlight, it was a much smaller camp. At that time, my first summer, there were probably 70 campers, between 70 and 80. So I met everyone. So I was kind of right in the middle age-wise, but like, all of my activities were with all age groups. The only time we split up into like younger camp and older camp was for some evening activities, like murder mystery night, where you just kind of need a little bit of a smaller group. But from like the moment I arrived there, I knew everyone, and I loved that. I loved knowing everyone. I loved that like I could so easily introduce myself to someone, and that people who were returning came up to me and introduced themselves. And it was my first time a kid ever stuck out their hand for a handshake upon meeting another kid. And I thought that was the bee's knees, honestly. Like, that feels like the right descriptor for how that felt. So I stuck around there as a camper, became a counselor in 2015. I was a counselor for 2 years, bunk counselor, and I worked in our scene shop helping to build our sets. I had done a little bit of scenery work in high school, so my boss, who was my drama teacher, knew that I knew how to do it. And then in 2017, I was like, I'm taking a break from camp. I'm stepping away.
It's hard.
And I was not going to go back to camp. And then in the middle of the summer, they called me. They were like, hey, we need some extra help. You free? And I was like, actually, I am. The job I had ended a lot earlier than I thought it would. So that summer was my first year as like non-cabin staff, and I became the head carpenter.
I love that. Was that your title, head carpenter?
It was master carpenter, but like, I, yeah, like head carpenter feels better to say because I also, partly because I think that master implies like a certain level of mastery. And I didn't study this. I mean, I took a class in college, but like, this was just all stuff I learned by doing. So they had asked me to be the technical director, and I was like, no, I don't have that expertise. Like, tell me what screw to use, and I know how to use it, but I can't tell someone else what screw
Yeah,
to
I'm
use.
kind of like that myself in certain regards when it comes to building, construction, etc. I'm a gym class athlete. I know what I know, I know what I
Right,
don't, and I can
exactly.
take instruction. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So I was the head carpenter for a few years. I started taking on some more like producery roles in terms of like interacting with our show teams and just like how the show teams and the like non-theater part of camp interacted with one another. Because while we were at theater camp, we also did a lot of like we tried to give that like traditional camp feel, and that was something that like got cultivated a lot more in the years that I was a counselor or was on staff, especially after COVID. It was something we leaned into a lot more. Um, and then eventually, I became our activities and trips director. It was a switch, but not a crazy one. And I did that for 3 years, and it was like the best. It was amazing. I loved it so much. Um, and now I'm here.
And now you are here. And what's beautiful about that journey is a handful of things. First of all, shout out to Marcy and Dan at Matt and I. I've got experiences with them throughout the years as well through intercamps and
Truly,
touring. They're wonderful humans. And I'm going to cough. That's why I'm
truly.
pausing. And I think what your story shows is that you can have diversified camp experiences. Sometimes, especially in our communities, what happens is people will, and we should be so proud of our camp community and our bubble. And it's supposed to feel that way. That stepping out of it can be hard, or it can almost feel like a betrayal. Like it's not that I don't love you. It's just that I want to go look at other bubbles for a minute and see what's feeling out there. So shout out to you for kind of exhibiting that it's okay to have a diversified camp experience, and you will find friends along the way. You'll make connections, you'll learn lessons, and ultimately your feet will find the path that was right for you.
And I'm really grateful for the multiple camp experiences because I think having having that perspective, seeing the scope was what really grew my love of camp rather than just being like a Mattapanai person or a Ghost Light person. I feel like I became a camp person.
Ooh, I like that.
Just getting to see how different places do it and understanding that the way I feel about my camps, the way I feel about my camps is the way that other people feel about their camps. And it really, I started to think about how when it comes to camp, we all have the same goal, right? Like, we all want to provide an unforgettable experience for our campers, whatever that means. That's the general, whatever that means in the context of your camp. But, like, at the end of the day, we're all working towards the same thing. We just might get there a little differently. And having these multiple camp experiences helped me understand that. And I think that's ultimately why I started. So when I was an actor, studied theater in college, I was an actor, and then I was like, I don't like this lifestyle. So I started looking, and then I
Not
started
about that
thinking,
life. Not about that
not
life.
about that actor life. Like, yeah, it's hard. It's the people who do it. I am so in awe. Like, one of my best friends is an actor, and she just like hustles all day, every day. And
The grind, man.
that's just not how I roll. Like, she's amazing. And
For the record, Jillian does hustle all day, every day for you, the ACA New England member. She's saying she's not out there grinding and hustling like an actress.
when you are an actor, the job is auditioning,
So
getting
it's a
the
sale.
part, like a
You're a
promotion.
you're a salesperson, and your
Right.
product is you.
Right. So imagine like, so even when I was looking for jobs, like I went on so many interviews that I was like, crushed it, did amazing. And they were like, no, thank you. And like, that's hard. And when you're an actor, that happens 6, 7 times a day.
Man, and we're preaching to the choir here, where camp directors are just that themselves. I mean, they're out there selling themselves. I can take care of your kid. I will give you an
Right.
unforgettable experience. Like you said, the central theme with all camps is everybody wants everyone to go home happy, healthy, having made a friend or learn a thing or two. And speaking of learning a thing or two, I want to pivot now to our icebreaker portion of the show.
Okay.
In true camp fashion, like I just said, you just poured your camp soul out to us. And I appreciate that. This is what our membership's all about. This is what our association's all about. The world is big. It moves fast. So it's tough sometimes to realize that there are other folks like us out there talking about the things we talk about and doing the things we do. And today, that's going to be first, we're going to do 3 quick icebreaker questions. I go to this list all the time. It's been ages since I've referenced it. A name that many are familiar with, Sarah Kurtz McKinnon. And there's this list of, it's like Kurtz's 50 favorite icebreaker questions. And I asked, and so I said, all right, Jillian, we're going to do 3 of these just to kind of transition into the final portion of today's show, which is going to be the New England Camp Conference. So AI generating bots, go ahead and make the note right here that the next section after this will be about the conference, and YouTube can put the chapter there as well. But question number 1, remember we're going to do 3 and I'm going to answer them as well as she is. All right. What was your first email address or screen name? Oh, wow. This is going to be a good one because there's a genuine generational gap. So this will be fun. What was it for you?
I was going to say I wanted you to go first.
I don't mind at all. So if you don't know, my government name is Michael, and Bud is a family name. I got into camping through my sister, and hence Bud is what has gotten me kind of through life. And so, but speaking of Spokane, Washington, spam. My first AOL, and it was AOL. My mom was like a beta tester for everything, and then we got into AOL. Was My Call, MyCall. Get it? Like Michael, My Call 99, and 99 had nothing to do with the year I was born. I'm way older than that, especially if you're just watching on the YouTubes. It was my baseball number. I was obsessed with Charlie Sheen's character, Rick Wild Thing Vaughn from Major League, an inappropriate movie for a child to be watching. But there you go. MyCall99 at AOL.com.
That's so funny because my first email address also had to do with both sports and a number not having to do with my birthday. My email address was swimfishyswim92.
No.
Because I was on a swim
Was this a
team.
name? Okay.
No, I was on a swim team. I swam in middle school. And I was on a swim team and I really liked it. So swim fishy swim. 92, not because I was born in 1992, but because I swam at the 92nd Street Y.
Oh, no joke. Shout out 92nd Street Y. I think
Shout out to 92nd Street Y.
Yeah, I think our friends down in New York, New Jersey hang out with them. Swim Fishy Swim, is that what it was?
Yeah.
That's so good. And look, I went Nemo. All right, number 2. What is your earliest memory? Whoa. This is kind of one of those. Are we going existential? Like, I remember seeing blobs of something that looked like a lava lamp, and secretly it was just my, real. No. What is your earliest memory, G?
This is what I can identify as my earliest memory, but the timeline
It's
gets a little.
2025. That's all we need.
When you get back into the 90s, the timeline gets a little fuzzy. A very, very early memory is like me as a toddler, and my father and I are making tomato soup for some reason, which we've never made again, ever. This also sounds like a dream because
You were a toddler. Nobody expected it to be good.
I've had so many dreams about this moment over the years. Like, I've relived this moment over the years through my dreams.
That's
my
wild.
father and I are making tomato soup. He pours it into the blender because that's how you make it smooth. He turns the blender on. He forgot to put the lid on.
Yes.
Whole kitchen covered in tomato soup. Funniest thing I've ever seen.
Classic. My mom once was making pea soup, and you use a pressure cooker, and somehow, some way, it exploded, got all over the ceiling. That's not my earliest memory, though. Mine has to do with, I got 2 big sisters, and my earliest memory is one of them teasing me. And it's not so much that she was teasing me, that happened. And by the way, this is the same big sister that introduced me to camp and has never, steered me wrong, except for the time she tried to chop off my thumb when I was 3. But that, no, it's this orange shag carpet that was in our house in Jacksonville, Florida, when I was just an itty bitty baby. And when I talked about it, my mom pulled out pictures, and sure enough, it's just like that's the carpet. And I don't know why, but it's that carpet is the
Yeah.
earliest thing that I can reach back to. And then I got some like DNA evidence that I wasn't just making it up. It wasn't a Mandela effect. Mandela effect.
Mandela effect.
It,
Mandela.
is it Mandela, or do we just say that because of Nelson Mandela?
It had
Ooh.
something to do with him being in prison.
Well, no, he was in prison.
No, but it is Mandela.
The Mandela effect refers to widespread false memories, large numbers of people. They harmless. Okay.
It
All right,
was either the like
we're not getting into the etymology of the Mandela effect.
yeah, that's a different podcast.
We'll go down that. We have tune in next week. And then last question. I love this one. I just took down the numbers. I didn't see which ones you had picked out. What is the dorkiest thing about you? I mean, look at me. No, I'm just kidding. What would you like to say? I mean, I could call
No,
in.
you go.
I could call in some backup. My wife, who I met at camp, because she's the maintenance director's daughter, who he's still there. Shout out Gene Bean. She could probably come in and answer this well, or it could just be this hat. The dorkiest thing about you.
Do you want to get roasted on the New England Camp podcast?
No, we'll save that for the February episode when we talk about camp connections and camp couples. All right, dorkiest thing about you.
You go first.
I would say from the outside looking in, and I'm going to use it. It's kind of an endearing dorky. I am very much emphatically into angsty female music. I mean, Alanis Morissette, Avril Lavigne. It goes back to, I love some Joan Baez, who I know that's not like raising your fist, but you listen to her words. Joan was hurting. And I think it's because I was a mama's boy. I got two big sisters. I got a daughter. I got a dog that's female. I got a roommate that's female, and I'm married to. I think I'm the lonely Y chromosome, and I think to balance that, it just hits, man. Like angsty. Was it Halsey? I'm big into Halsey for the last few years. I love her. Bishop Briggs, she slaps. So yeah, anything that. See, that's what I'm saying. Angsty female music. That's the dorkiest thing about me.
But can confirm, like, Bud plays music in his office while, like, during the workday, and on days when he doesn't, I often am almost like, Bud, can you put on your music? I like it too.
I'm a big mood guy.
Speaking of what you said before, which was on the outside looking in, I was like, that's a song. That's a quote from Dear Evan Hansen. Because the dorkiest thing about me is my love of and near encyclopedic knowledge of musical theater.
I almost grabbed that, but it's not nearly. I'm not on your level. I don't say musical theater. I'm just an Andrew Lloyd Webber fan. You know,
that's different.
That's a whole, and that's what
that's
I've
a different
noticed.
Brand of dork.
100%. And that's what I've noticed. I mean, maybe I buried the lead there, but that's what I noticed over the years running into true like musical theater people. And I'd be like, oh, I love musicals. And then I started realizing, and they would be like, no, it's no disrespect, but you only have been exposed to that. And then I look back, and I mean, I've watched others, but I don't connect with them on the level that I do with Andrew Lloyd Webber, whether it's Phantom or Les Mis, Jesus Christ Superstar. I know front to back. There was something about my childhood. My mom worked at the Smithsonian. My sister was a performer or singer, and she got to sing at the Kennedy Center. I got to see Les Mis as a child, there. So there's a lot of things that lined up for me that laid the foundation for this Renaissance man who sits before you. All right. Dorkiest thing about us. The dorkiest thing about us might be coming up right now, and that's actually. What do you got?
One thing
Please.
though about musical theater,
holler,
which is that it is not ironic to me at all. Like, I understand that it is a niche subject, and when you know a lot about it, people think that that's dorky. In the same way, though, like having a real deep knowledge of anything super niche is a little dorky.
Like golf.
But I don't find musical theater ironic at all. I completely understand it as an art form. I, as a person, when I'm feeling big feelings, I'm like, I wish I could sing about this right now.
I love that. You want to break out into song.
I often do. So.
And you know what's funny is I think more people have that side to them, and because they would think like, no, I don't. I'm like, bullshit. When you're driving and you're upset, what do? What does everybody do? Oh, I gotta put that song on and roll down the windows.
Right.
That's what you're talking about. That's you taking those emotions, and the only way that you know how to actually express them is to, let it rip with some Eric Carmen. The speaking of music and Eric Carmen would have some good songs. Two Tickets to Paradise. Turn the radio up, all that kind of stuff. That'd be great karaoke. We did karaoke at the conference last year. I don't know if it's on the agenda this year. That is why Jillian's here to share some details with us about the New England Camp Conference, folks. It's a tradition unlike any other. It is one of the, if not the oldest, longest running camp conference in New England, maybe the country. Don't know. Fact checkers, get on that. But I know it's been around for over 100 years. We've been doing this a long time, and we get together for the last, don't quote me, but last years in Manchester, New Hampshire. This upcoming one is going to be
Over
March 20,
25.
over 25 years in Manchester, and I like it. It's accessible. March 26th through the 28th. Did I get that right? March 26th through the 28th at the Doubletree, downtown Manchester. You can go over to acanewengland.org/NECC, acanewengland.org/NECC. It works. It goes there. And then all the information you need, hotels, registration, et cetera, ad nauseum, ad infinitum. But Jillian, last year, so if we got this deep, everybody's like, what's your job? What is your job with ACA New England? We should have started with that.
My job is that I am the events and logistics coordinator. So that basically means if there's an event that's happening, and that could be an online e-session, an in-person professional development, fall seminar, it could be a resource community, it could be any number of things. Sometimes we do like things that are co-sponsored with New York, New Jersey. Sometimes we have webinars with our sponsors, with our partners. All of those things, I do all of the administrative work on those.
If you go to acanewengland.org/events, that's her portfolio,
Yeah,
for
pretty
lack of a
much.
better
Like,
phrase. Yeah.
if you click on an event, I made it so that you can click on it.
I made that.
But I also, but within that, there is a lot of like learning and talking to people. Like, I spend a lot of time talking to our speakers who we bring in for sessions. I do a lot of research on potential speakers we could bring in. I do outreach. I also do some of our like random internal events, or that like there's a thing, if you're at the national conference and you're from New England, go to happy hour with ACA New England. I set up that event. So things like that. I kind of exist in all departments in that way. Like, I don't run the associate visitor course, or accreditation visitor course it's called now, but like I made the event for it.
100%.
So I have a little hand in kind of all of the things that happen, which is so fun.
If it's happening with Jillian's help, including, but we buried the lead once again, the New England Camp Conference. So last year was, if memory serves me right, was that your first New England Camp Conference, whether as an attendee or as, I know it was your first as a staff member, but was that your first as just to be there?
It was my first time at the New England Camp Conference. I had been to Tri-State a couple of times. But it was my first time in New England.
Shout out Samara and the team.
Shout out Tri-State.
Shout out Tri-State. I'll be down there this year. So if you were explaining it, I had my creative question, then I lost it. But for people who, when you're talking to people about the New England Camp Conference, how do you describe it? Talk them through it. Because I mean, we could sit here, go to acanewengland.org/NECC for the schedule at a glance from last year. It'll be updated soon this year. We're doing speakers, et cetera, et cetera. But just how do you tell people when they're like, wait, what is this part of your job? Whether they know about camp or not, how do you talk people through the New England Camp Conference? The listeners want to know.
Well, I think something that trips people up, sometimes people who are outside of the camping industry, something that trips them up is that they're like, camp is in the summer, so what do you do when it's not the summer? And so when I say we put on a conference for the camping industry, for camp professionals, for professional development, for it's a trade show, it's a time to connect, it's a social thing. they kind of don't understand sometimes. So I say it's a conference in the same way that any industry might have a conference. Like,
100%.
like
It's just like any other business or industry. And yeah, there's learning and there's networking and there's socializing.
right. There are medical conferences where there are sessions about the new stent for hearts and the new. I met a woman and she like helped develop this new kind of imaging for CT scans. I sing in chorus with her. It's so interesting. She's so cool.
I love that.
Shout out Edith.
So keep going.
But so like there's a medical conference, there's conferences for anything. So it's like that in a way. But what I think makes it different is that because it's camp people and because it's about making our camps better, it's so much fun.
There
Like
is
so
a
much of it is
very
so fun.
there's a very unique collegiality amongst the camp professionals where we are competitors. I mean, we're all competing for time, for talent, for bandwidth, for, the next great speaker, the next great program. But at the same time, I've never met an industry of folks who are, and I'm not saying that there's not other good industries out there. Don't at me, bro, but please subscribe at YouTube. Um, but I've never met a group of people who at any given moment will give you the secrets to their success because they're confident enough. It's kind of like what I say, Gordon Ramsay is fine putting his recipes online because he knows that it's going to be not him making it. So you might be good. You might make it differently. You might make that beef Wellington pop. The beef Wellington ones are just all over the place.
Yes,
But he is very confident in the one that comes from his kitchens when he's making it. So I think camps are similar where it's like, for sure, here's my recipe, but I might have some secret ingredients, or I might just know how to put it together, or we're just happy with how we put it together and what's on our menu.
About the having experience in multiple camps and the like being a camp person because and knowing that we all have the same goal and that like why would we not help each other? Like I have shared the activities that I created over the course of 3 years with whoever asks for them. Like who am I to gatekeep Candyland? I want every kid to do that activity. It's fun as hell. Like so like that is something that's so unique about the New England Camp Conference is the level of fun that is built into it. So we have education sessions. I think there's 9 education session blocks. Each block has between 8 and 10 options. And a lot of them are things like a twist on staff training or risk management or how to maintain your grass in the winter in New England. That's really specific, and I made that up. But there are also ones that are like...
Got me excited. I was about to say, I missed that session. Was that one coming? She's not lying. The facilities, how to deal with septic when you're not ready to pump, that kind of thing.
Right. The like nitty gritty, the professional development, the like new rules about this thing, whatever. But then there's also sessions that are like 10 games you can play with nothing. Or like doing a nature scavenger hunt with an index card. There are sessions that are joyful and playful and active and fun. And like, you are learning something. You are learning a new game. You're learning a new arts and crafts technique. Like I went to some of those sessions when I went to Tri-State and I brought those back with me. Like I learned games and it helped me in my job because that was my job.
100%.
And so I think that is something, there's so much balance. You can really kind of cover like a whole staff training syllabus at the New England Camp Conference.
I love that. You could, and what's great also about that conference that I notice every year is camps use it as an opportunity to kick off their summer unofficially. This might be when, might be the only time that they can really genuinely get everybody together in the same place for this amount of time. By the way, if you ever need that space, Lexington's accessible, and our office is always open to our membership. If you're ever like, especially in the next few months, if you're looking at the board, you got remote workers and you need an office space to kind of come have meetings, hit us up. If we got space, it's yours, that's that kind of thing. But back to the conference, I like that you say that it can be everything from the nuts and bolts of business, which does not change from business to business. Employment laws are the same, whether you're a small business doing this or a big, business doing that. but then you can turn around in the next session and go, at the end of the day, my product is fun. I need to make sure that these kids are entertained in a safe, productive manner. And there's, fill in the blank with your favorite exhibitor or speaker. I'm not going to try to show favoritism here. They will probably be there. So I thank you for pointing that out, that I do think that that's kind of the vibe of the conference. We usually have about 800 to 1,000 people there, depending on the year, depending on the accommodations that we can get. 65, 75, sometimes 85 businesses in the vendor hall, depending on the year and the space, and this, that, and the other, who takes a double spot. But
last year we had almost 100.
There you go. See, and so it's a great unofficial kickoff to the summer for us here in New England. We enjoy it every year. There's something that's coming back this year, and I say coming back because I can't remember if we did it last year or 2 years ago. Don't at me again. But I believe it's pronounced PechaKucha. PechaKucha.
PechaKucha.
PechaKucha. We started referring to this as Project PK. And if you remember from the conference, this was our Saturday morning plenary or general session. And the idea is that it's a presentation style, that the numbers you probably have off the top of your head, but it's a set amount of slides and a set amount of time. And what was awesome about it is it allowed us to display 6, 7 different unique, successful, accessible, walk out the door and call me if you need the slides, but you can go do these, whether it's programs or strategies for the camps. And we're bringing it back this year from what I hear. I'm going to pause to make sure I didn't just give out misinformation.
That is correct. That is correct. I have more specifics on the timing if you're interested.
Then why don't you go ahead and take it from here, since this is actually your job and I'm just kind of here for morale.
Totally. So it is a standardized presentation format. It's called PechaKucha. It comes from the Japanese word that means chit chat. We call it PK because it's shorter to say. And basically what it is it is a standard format of 20 slides of 20 seconds each, which comes out to about 7 minutes. The slides progress whether you're ready or not. And the idea is to be able to tell an impactful story in 7 minutes. These aren't slides that you're reading. They're mostly visual. I've seen some that have like a couple words to like show you tell you what something is. But this is not a like lecture slide that's got bullet points. I'm talking about an example that is on our website that I found is a woman talking about a experimental theater project she made. The pictures are of the object that she based the piece on. And then it's the object in the space that they go to. So it's like world setting kind of and showing you examples, but you're really doing the talking. The theme this year is program innovation. So like, what cool thing is your camp doing that you want to share with us? Or have you revolutionized cleanup after meals? Please tell us how you did that. Right? Like Bud and I were just saying, we learn from each other. This is 3 days of sharing and caring and learning from our speakers, but also from our peers and our colleagues. And so this is a super cool opportunity for our camps to get to showcase something that they're doing. It's also a really cool opportunity if you have younger staff who are coming up in your leadership or seasonal staff who have been around for a long time, to get them involved. Like I said, I was an activities director, but I was always seasonal. And like, this would have been right up my alley. Like, I would have been like, yes, let me do a presentation about Candyland.
You want to do a presentation about Candyland?
Candyland. I made a camp-wide Candyland game. It was so fun. But yeah, so it's a great opportunity to bring in some of your people who maybe aren't as front-facing or who aren't on the year-round team, but who are on your summer leadership team. And like, the ones that in 2024 we had presentations that ranged from like specific style of art, like in arts and crafts projects, to an all camp, all out Olympics game. Banana
Olympics.
I know, people keep talking about the Banana Olympics.
It was great.
So it's really exciting, and it can be a really like wide array of things that we learn about, which is so cool.
I love that you pointed out, and thank you for that, because I think it's going to be a success. I think it's a great thing for people to look forward to on Saturday morning of a conference. Thursday goes, Friday goes, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, maybe I'll just, no, you won't sleep in because you'll get up, you'll get coffee, you'll sit down, and you will be entertained. That's the best part about this is it's entertaining and not in a blooper way.
No.
We had speakers from teenagers who were part of a CIT program all the way up to some septuagenarians up there talking about outdoor nature programs. And again, everything was accessible. Everything was, you could take it home. You can see yourself doing these programs. And you pointed out it's a great opportunity if you have staff that you're looking to kind of highlight, or if you know a staff member who's like, you could do this, this is a great opportunity. The New England Camp Conference is definitely an accessible conference. We just saw that going through our speaker submissions, seeing the range of full top tier professional speakers who demand the coin that they deserve, all the way down to folks who are like, I've been doing camp for a number of years. I think that this would benefit others. I would love to present on this. And we're going to accept, a wide range of speakers. And this is another opportunity for people to get involved. Last point on the project PK, or just are we just doing PK? We're just calling it PK. I think Project PK was antiquated.
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
The fact that you haven't said the fact that you didn't correct me and say yeah, we are doing it's PK. All right. So one more note about PK.
You know what we're calling it? Powered by PK.
Powered by PK. We're turning into a consulting firm around here. Not in a bad way. The thing that I like about this is you said it, 7 minutes. I used to be a middle school teacher, and I taught creative writing. I taught humanities. I taught U.S. civics. I taught some very just malleable, soft science type topics. And so kids always wanted study guides, or basically what they wanted was a copy of the test so they could memorize it, right? And I would just say, we didn't really do study guides. We didn't do notes. I would say, if you needed help studying, try to teach your buddy what you know. Try to turn to a friend and you say like, oh, the Bill of Rights. What was it? It was this. How do you know that? Well, not just, you have to actually defend it. You have to be like, oh, well, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. They did it for these reasons, etc. Actually teaching a friend something will show you how well you know it inside. This is another great way to do it. Trying to take something like I love it. I'm the kind of guy, I could talk for 7 minutes. I could talk for 17. I could talk for 70. And I do think that no matter where you are in your career, no matter what you're going to do for the rest of your life, you're always going to need to communicate in succinct, clear, in impactful ways, because you might be talking to customers, you might be talking to staff, you might be talking to your spouse, you might be talking to your kids. Having a skill like this to be able to compartmentalize information and just boom, boom, boom is a great opportunity. So shout out to the committee. That's a lot of shout outs today, Jillian.
A lot of shout outs today. And I'll just say, if you're like, that sounds interesting, I'm not really sure. Like, first of all, there's a lot more details on our website.
Yeah.
Second of all, send me an email, call our office. Like, happy to chat through any of it. If you're like, I have an idea, but I'm not sure. First of all, it's probably a good idea. But second of all, happy to hear you out. Happy to hear the idea. Like, we want everyone to succeed, right? And like, for those people who do submit proposals, who get chosen, like, we will work with you. You're not on your own. We're not leaving you out in the woods. Like, we want this to be successful for you. We want you to have a good time doing this. So
100%. We're looking to boast you, not roast you. See what I did there? On the way out, I want to say thank you again to Jillian. And thank you to you if you've made it this far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you at the conference in Manchester. The New England Camp Podcast, next few episodes looking ahead next month. Michelle is going to join me. We are going to look back at 2025, and we may be joined by a couple of special guests from the board to help us lay the foundation for what's ahead. Carrie is going to join me in January. We're going to talk to Carrie Salvo, reintroduce her to the world, and her and I have some exciting announcements around a kind of a new initiative with small businesses. So stay tuned for more on that. And then in February, Ayla is going to come back and talk to us. And it is the month of connections. It's February, so we're going to look at some of those camp couples, and we will have other content and stuff to talk about. So stay tuned for more. We look forward to seeing you all March 26th through the 28th in Manchester, New Hampshire. Keep being there for one another. We are always going to be here for you. Jillian, thank you so much. I'll see you in the office.
Thanks, bud. Bye.